an 11-2 stop, absolutely shellacking of 72 PC. So hopefully they're feeling a little bit warmed up, but the competition is just going to get fiercer. They're going to start off here on offense. Krasix will lose control to Squishy. We've got NRG in the orange, Jamal Jabari in the blue. LJ over the top of one onto an open front field. There's Krasix with a shot blocked by Squishy. Bit of a double commit on the goal line, and Toasty will get it underneath one. Jamal Jabari starting off on offense.
Yeah, and ideally we get the same approach from Jamal Jabari as we did from J-Bot in that interview. I liked what he said about going up against Envy. You know, maybe they'll make it a series that Turbo remembers and really bring the heat. That's what I want to see from Jamal Jabari. Keep this series close. And by no means is there no chance for them to get a win out in the series. We had mentioned so many times what happened before. And the first goal, as I'm talking about their chances and how it's possible, is going to be off a demo.
They get a demolition. That opens up the backfield, and Toasty will score. Jamal Jabari scored, again, like 11 goals in round number one. They're going to keep that trend going here.
Is this going to be another tragedy for all of the NRG fans out there who wanted to see, you know, them stay in the upper bracket? You think back to the first regional. What would have happened in that series against Envy had it been NRG with that safety net of the bracket reset? And now Justin doing a little dance footwork in the upper box, but it doesn't result in anything.
It took 5 defenders to get rid of that ball, but they did finally get it away. He's got NRG off the steal, and the double taps are back. Tie game.
Even in the playing field is Garrett G now off another demo in the corner, but he had so much space. LJ was on the backboard, and if you go to his perspective, he was waiting a bit to see what Garrett wanted to do. He expected a huge hit off the backboard himself, but Garrett kept it close, got the follow-up, and secured that goal.
They've tied it up in the first minute. Here comes Toasty looking to take the lead back. Gets it to the upper 90. Justin's got a block. Follow from Krasix a bit high, and it's clear from Squishy. Out to Garrett. Here's the counterattack. Back to the corner. LJ. The trap. Garrett G puts it high. LJ to follow it. He's got Krasix in the midfield. LJ following down, looking for the flip reset. Doesn't make contact, and Toasty will get bumped off the ball. So Garrett G looking for Squishy now in the midfield. He's going to try to attack. This gets it towards the goal, and Krasix will block it before he can get that final touch to tuck it around the post.
Yeah, it was a good attempt from Squishy. Got the pre-flip going forward. Now NRG. They have gotten a couple of clears. They're not being too aggressive. I think that first goal really spooked them coming out against Jamal. As we still are tied up. 3 minutes left. This one squeezes out into the box. And you can see NRG not too aggressive. They want to play a bit passive and wait for those mistakes. Wave punk.
They have already made a few mistakes, some critical ones in the box that NRG wasn't able to immediately punish. So, yeah, I think they'll go on to a little bit more defensive. But here comes Squishy looking for a double tap. Krasix will get it off to the backboard, back out to midfield, and demolitions reign. Toasty, the only blue player on the pitch, as Justin takes to the sky with full boost. Excellent challenge from Toasty.
Oh, and that's what you need against players like Justin, an early challenge. You know, disregard whoever's going behind the ball. You don't want to respect them too much. Something that happens all the time with, say, an underdog team like Jamal Jabari going up against a dynasty of NRG. You're going to respect them too much, give them too much space to go for a shot. Because it's a player like Justin and Squishy, they have those mechanics. And now, off the ceiling, playing pinball, and still tied up, the defense of Jamal Jabari has held on.
Oh my goodness, Jamal Jabari playing lights out defense. They'll keep this game tied at 1 apiece as we've crossed halftime. Garrett G now to the wall, following it himself, going out for the ball one more, gets it past Krasix, and a soft touch to LJ. Manages to dismount the wall just in time to get a bumper onto it, get it back to midfield. Here's Krasix, redirect to the backboard. Justin's up for it, puts it over the top of the front line. Here comes Garrett G into an empty backfield. Looking for the backboard. Krasix gets back just in time to make the save, keeps us tied.
NRG are going to have to rely on more midfield passes. You can tell that their play style is more solo and these individual plays, and they're focusing on how they can beat out a 1v1 to maybe get a free net. They don't want to risk a midfield pass to get intercepted, but that's what it's going to come down to with the defense we've seen from Jamal.
Squishy's touch, soft, and Jamal Jabari will collapse on it. LJ now in the corner, up against Justin. Gets it past him. Got Garrett G in the midfield, caught in no man's land. It's up to Squishy on the back line. Can't win the 50-50, but Garrett G will get back, scoot underneath his teammate, and push it to the corner. Back up to the box. Clear from Squishy to Justin. Goal corner. LJ's blocked, puts it high, and the clears come through. Krasix and Toasty double commit. There's a mistake, and NRG punish. Garrett G now on the backboard, still got enough boost to reach, and tucks it under the crossbar. They do punish and take the lead.
Oh, I feel for LJ. He needed to have a better support system from his teammates as LJ got that last-second save, but now wasted all his boost. He had picked up one pad, but it wasn't enough. Couldn't outpace the striker of Garrett G. And we've got the lead finally given to NRG. We had been waiting for it. All that pressure does finally force Jamal Jabari to collapse.
Yeah, I think that if I saw it correctly in the replay, there was the double commit that initially opened it up, and then a bit of a soft double commit immediately following that. Both players trying to challenge Garrett G very much underneath him, leaving LJ completely exposed in the goal.
Well, and this has still been a really solid showing from Jamal Jabari. I mean, it's running away a bit in the end for NRG, but if you take a look at the defensive touches, normally earlier on, this would have been a better touch from Toasty. He was trying to control it. I like the idea, and the way that Jamal Jabari are trying to set themselves up. It's just very difficult against a roster of NRG where, each one of them is a solo threat that you got to worry about. Are they going to hit the reset? Are they going to hit the crazy double midfield tap? It's just always hard to read how they're trying to approach you.
Oh, Garrett to Justin. It's just wide of the goal. LJ will send it to the edge. Yeah, the defense of Jamal Jabari definitely holding their own, but running into some accuracy here from Garrett G. Hat trick here in game number 1. Squishy in the midfield, gets caught though, and he reacted a little too slowly. 20 seconds left. This is a ball game. Yeah,
there's still a chance here. All 3 players had pushed up from NRG. Squishy in the midfield, you mentioned it. He was a little bit too slow. He needed to get up. Any form of contact in that situation would have been ideal for Squishy, but unfortunately couldn't get a touch. Jamal Jabari, there's 20 seconds left, Wave. We've seen it before.
We've seen it many times. Don't count him out, but NRG's already coming for him. Krasik with a miss. LJ's got to win this. Justin beats him, and out of the corner. This is going to make things much more difficult for Jamal. Here's Garrett G. 2 defenders up for it. Squishy against the back line. LJ gets the block. Toasty's got control of the back wall. Out to Krasik. Can he connect with his teammate LJ? He's up for it and doesn't quite get there. 2 seconds left. This one should be over. We'll see if they can.
No way.
Oh my goodness.
Pinch?
What a bounce. Justin put it into the ground. Oh, and it's over to the edge. Okay, finally, NRG stave off 2 last-minute attacks to take game number 1.
That corner pinch could have been something insane. I don't know if we've seen a play like that on a buzzer beater where it pinched across. NRG somehow had somebody there to react for it and smack that ball down. But what a first game in the series. I had talked about it, in the grid. This was a 6-0 win for NRG in game 1 in that series. But coming out here, Jamal Jabari, they've gotten more confidence. The challenges, massive wins out of Jamal Jabari on defense, and that's what's keeping them alive and why the game is so close, Wave.
Yeah, no, the defensive stands were so strong. It was just those few little errors, and also Garrett G. That go-ahead goal, the goal 3, the accuracy from the corner, giving them no extra room. He didn't need the teammates. They just had to block the super tight shot. Didn't quite get there. And NRG's accuracy is going to give NRG that win in game number 1. But I love the energy and the attack there in the end. Yeah. 2 different opportunities to make that final buzzer beater go in. Both of them had to be pushed away by the defense. Jamal Jabari came to play.
Yeah, they're making NRG sweat. That is a fact so far if you're watching this series. And I would love to see Jamal Jabari actually not focus too much on their own corners. Instead, be very conscious of the pads that they're collecting on the field because they are getting starved left and right. We even saw the goal in the previous game from LJ. He didn't have the boost to get up for the save against Garrett G, and that's what gave NRG the lead. So prioritize those little pads. Make sure you can find a solid counterattack, or else you're going to get outpaced. And yet again, it was Garrett G with a shot saved from Krasik in a 0-0 game.
Well done. Not giving up on that play. Drag racing him to the corner. The defense wins. Krasik now with an opportunity to take the lead. Gets it, just behind. Squishy's touch goes behind LJ, and now Garrett G just racing it straight down the field once more. Steals the corner boost, passes to Justin, shoots, blocked by Krasik. Excellent game on defense for Krasik in games 1 and 2.
They always find a way to get the saves, and even Justin there, he had gone for a delayed shot. He waited to flip with his car, assuming the defender would fly past him. And again, it's not an issue of respecting him. Jamal Jabari, they don't have hesitation when they're going for the challenges. It doesn't matter if it's Justin or Garrett G even on defense. They're getting the 50, and Toasty gets one here.
Okay, NRG's defense a little bit of a crack here. Garrett just didn't read this properly, and Toasty found the dunk on him. Yeah. And that's 2 games in a row now, Turtle. They've had the lead.
And he jumped up for that ball, knowing full well he might have gotten outpaced. He didn't even have the advantage going in, but said, you know what, I'm going to try and win this 50 for my team and not be passive with my play style. That was such a good play from Toasty. And a matter of confidence, Justin, the accuracy, coming out clutch. NRG, they respond so fast, Wade.
Look at this back pass from Garrett. He's like, here you go. All right, Justin, the lateral shoots to the far side. So much misdirection in this play to tie the game.
Which is very important for NRG. I want to see them use that infield pass to their advantage because solo plays, it's not going to work. You can't come against this Jamal Jabari defense and expect to get free shots. But LJ can expect to get a fake on NRG. What just happened?
Oh, man, clip that one and save it. Not often you're going to fake Garrett G out. Oh, my goodness. Styled on him to take the lead back.
Are you kidding me? You just absolutely styled on Garrett G. Jamal Jabari. This is the performance we wanted to see out of them. You know, obviously, NRG the favorite coming out, but that could change so far if Jamal Jabari keep playing like this.
I mean, the larger you favor a team in a series, the more sincere of an upset it is when the other team wins. So we'll see what happens. Exciting stuff. Jamal Jabari making an exciting series. Justin up, back out to Squishy now, looking for the counterattack. Garrett G on the far side, and LJ gonna just spray straight back down the middle to Toasty. Puts it up, and it's to the upper 90, but just a bit wide. Garrett G will take it out of his corner. Plays it over. Now Krasix picks up his boost, getting challenged by Garrett. Garrett just flies down the field, following his own clears. Krasix and Toasty right on top of this one. Double commits were the thing that slipped the game away from Jamal Jabari in game number 1. Only to be careful here in game number 2. They both commit to the side. Justin shoots dead center and ties the game.
I want everybody to pay attention to Garrett G in this recovery. He saved that flip, used it, and the recovery in the corner from Garrett G. That is something special, and hopefully we're all taking notes because that was one of the best recoveries I think we've seen in quite some time. While it wasn't the flashiest, it was definitely clean. Gets NRG back in the game, all tied up. But Jamal Jabari, you got to be cautious of them because they've got LJ who can come out with those fakes.
And then that stall. Oh, but they get the field pass. The shot, the speed of this attack again and again.
Did Garrett get bumped by Justin here? What? He did. What is going on? What is happening? NRG. Miscommunication on the field. Garrett G was just trying to go up for a challenge, and Justin trying to rotate back, get a little bit caught off guard, and end up falling and cascading into each other, Wave.
A characteristic of a strong team is how fast can you capitalize on an opponent's mistake, no matter how small. The bump on the corner there into Garrett G definitely took out the third man, and they immediately took the shot on net and get the lead back. Here at halftime, we'll see what they can do. Squishy and Krasix both get demolished, which is going to tangle up this defensive rotation, but Squishy gets reverse Goomba into the air. Garrett G shoots too high, and Justin's off to the corner. Krasix has an open net in front of him. Can Justin get back in time? He does. Covers it up from the edge, and now turning it into a counterattack. Pass to Garrett G, onto the backboard, following it himself, taps it down. Oh, it was off the corner. Actually didn't put it between the posts, and that'll be Jamal Jabari keeping the lead.
And Garrett G was going for a pass off the backboard, but Krasix had read the play from a mile away. Now, Justin, we need a little bit slower pace from these guys. Garrett actually took an early shot previously when he had more space, could have gone for the dribble. Maybe NRG panicking, getting some flashbacks to the previous regional.
They're having to play clean. Here's Garrett, sends it. LG's got the block. Squishy shot is high. Squishy out to the edge for Garrett. Back to the middle. Now Toasty onto the wall, doesn't get the second touch, and it bounces for Justin. Takes the shot. Krasix got the backflip block. Squishy's up for it, and Garrett G's looking for this read. Now airborne. Gets challenged by Toasty. Out to LJ, challenging Justin on the wall. Doesn't actually touch it, and Justin will get the touch for free. 1:15 on the clock. Jamal Jabari holding the lead in game 2.
Yeah, what I've noticed, NRG are so eager to take an early shot instead of use that space to go for a dribble. You can just slow it down a bit like this from Squishy. This is what I want to see. Now you force a better 50. Justin's got space, but he just hits it right to LJ and gives away the possession.
Squishy in the midfield. Toasty now going to hold on to this. And does he start to burn time against NRG? The 1-goal lead might be the best they're going to get. They have to find a way to win with it. Squishy over 1. Justin has to keep falling back. Slow rotation. Squishy's touch was a good challenge win, but NRG wasn't able to use it. Now bouncing in the midfield, Krasix, quick half flip, leaves it for Toasty. Krasix demolished, 2 players up. Squishy down, 30 seconds left, into Justin, onto the backboard. Garrett G doesn't make contact. Justin doesn't either. Toasty to put pressure on him. Garrett G gets it away. Squishy will demolish Krasix in the midfield. Can they use the advantage? 18 seconds left. Jamal Jabari gonna try and get another one. Krasix just shoots, tries to keep Justin honest, and Justin bluffed.
Even the teammates of NRG, every single one of them, not expecting the early shots from Jamal Jabari. 2-goal lead now for them in game 2. We're not going to see a sweep come out like we did in the grid. NRG are falling apart on defense. You think back to the team bump and now Justin getting caught off guard looking for boost.
The defense is the name of is the thing to watch in this series right now. The team playing better defense is winning because both teams are shooting well. The accuracy has been there. It's just who is standing up on the goal line. I love to see it. Jamal Jabari tie the series at a game apiece.
This is a very awkward rotation for NRG. I don't think this is, by any means to sound the alarms if you're a fan of NRG or if you're on NRG right now with the mentality they're at. You don't want to just start panicking and freak out. This was a great game from Jamal Jabari. You cannot discredit them and their defense to get those last-second saves. They were diving in front of the net. I think I mentioned this before. All I want to see is just NRG go for a bit more dribbles. There's a lot of space in front of that Jamal Jabari defense, where instead of going for an early shot, you could just take that ball slowly, go for a nice flick, and then keep the pressure on.
No, it's so interesting because this is NRG testing Jamal Jabari in this situation. They're saying, we're just going to take the shots. Force you to leave a player back in goal. The problem is 6 saves. Krasic's got himself a savior medal in that game. They're standing up strong on the goal line. That's not working anymore. They're going to have to get them out of the box if they want to get the wins here. And the funny thing is, Turtle, the opposite is working for Jamal Jabari. They're taking the early shots, and it's going in.
100%. That is how this game has somehow unraveled. We've got NRG using the same strategy on offense, which isn't working. And then they get on defense, and they expect Jamal Jabari to go for some dribbles, go for maybe a slower play, but it's those early shots that'll catch them off guard, like we just saw with Justin going for some boost. And Jamal Jabari, they don't hesitate when they're trying to get a strike on net, and neither does Justin when he's given the opportunity. 1-0 NRG, this could be a nice little comeback from them.
This is their first lead of this, their first opening goal. Squishy's soft touch just to get it back into the box and force the rest of Jamal Jabari to kind of figure out, what do we do with this ball? It doesn't have any momentum on it. We have to put the momentum on this ball. They don't get the strongest touch. Justin is able to thread the needle. And now looking for a kickoff goal. Krasik has other ideas. He'll send it back away. Toasty now in a tied series. And I don't want to make it sound like the expectation that, and you said, like, do we sound the alarms yet? Obviously not. I mean, it's not like if NRG doesn't sweep Jamal Jabari, there's a problem. Jamal Jabari's taking games off of NRG here and there, and we'll see how they're on a hot streak in this today, coming off of a sweep.
I mean, and you're coming in with confidence too, seeing that NRG has fallen in this spot of the bracket previously. You know that there are weaknesses in that defense, and we've even seen it in the previous game. It was not flawless from NRG. I think there were actually a lot of opportunities that were straight up given to Jamal Jabari. But Justin, let's see if he's got a nice little comeback and return to form with his mechanics. He's going for some boosts. Nice little 50. Now Garrett G, almost an opportunity, and yet again is met by LJ, who I think on Jamal Jabari, LJ 100% the player to watch out for.
LJ on offense in particular. Krasic's look for him on the goal line. As Garrett G into the corner. He's out of boost. Got one touch. Nearly gets the second one in Krasic's. On that goal line, I'll get it away. But Justin turns back around, and they still got 17 boosts. Got the flip reset, but lost the ball to LJ. Garrett G putting more pressure on, and they're pounding the corner now, forcing Jamal Jabari to play them on the edge. And that pinch, oh dear, LJ's gonna have to play this one out of his goal. Quick flick.
Oh, here we go.
Get it past the offense. Now Toasty trying to take control. Garrett G past one. Up, still half the tank of boost. Got Squishy lurking in front of the box. Pinches it soft, and oh, it bounces over Squishy's head. Justin's shot is good. LJ gets the block.
And right there, Justin, there was space to go for a dribble, maybe keep that one a bit closer. They're trying to force the opportunity. Garrett G, some demos on Krasic's, yet Toasty is ready for the clear. Nothing yet from NRG. They still have the 1-goal lead, but they're pressing for that second.
Touch from Krasic's goes over to Justin. He's got Garrett G in the midfield. Halftime, lowest scoring game we've seen so far. Justin on the backboard. Garrett looked for it, but the defense continues to get in the way. Excellent positioning, tight rotations in the box. Toasty loses control. Soft touch from Squishy, not going to be good. Toasty gives it to Garrett G. He's got all of his boost, but no upward velocity. Pass to the edge. Justin challenged by Krasic's, and the neutral 50-50 game actually going in Jamal Jabari's favor as they slowly get this one across midfield. LJ shot just high. The bump on from Toasty was good. They just had to sneak it under the crossbar. Close one there. Jamal Jabari could have tied the game.
Yeah, we're waiting for the third man to rotate in. Now a demo. This is free for NRG. Garrett G there for the finish. They've been getting more physical as the game has progressed, Wave Punk, and it works out.
Yeah, Justin winning that pass in the midfield and Squishy opening the gates. 2-0 NRG now. And they're looking to take match point in the series after a close loss in game 2.
It's a comfortable win for NRG so far. There's still holes in the defense. We almost just saw a play from LJ that forced Justin to go upside down in the net. G, more bumps and demos. Something that does come out from NRG if they need it. Justin solo plays left and right. And a slower defense. Look at how they're rotating out wave. It's a bit slower to get out. They can't get that massive clear. Nobody's waiting downfield to have a redirect.
And they might be trapped maybe a little bit lower on boost as well, but the good news is NRG struggling in the tanks as well. So they back out, but free midfield control as they had completely suffocated them into their box means they turn back around. Now they'll lose some challenges. Some awkward wall hops will help Jamal Jabari get the ball back to midfield, but can they make use of it? Krasic's struggling with it on the ceiling. LJ's touches off to the edge, but no man's land. Justin will scoop it up, win the 50 against Toasty. Garrett getting bumped, might still make the shot, doesn't make contact. Here's Squishy on the far side. Looking for the pass down, it's in the box, bouncing, so dangerous. Toasty clears it away. Final minute of play, though. Jamal Jabari's got to get to the other end of the field and score.
Yeah, and I'm being a bit cautious of the midfield boost, seeing which team is actually dominant in that midfield. And I've been watching LJ's perspective. Every time he goes out for a midfield boost, it is gone. There is no chance he's going to get it. He hasn't even gotten a full boost pad in I don't know how many minutes it's been. NRG having a field day on the other side of the pitch, and you can tell what it's doing to the defense of Jamal Jabari.
Now, by not taking those early shots and just conceding ball control over and over again, NRG is forcing Jamal Jabari out of their half, forcing them into the 50-50s, into the contests, and they're losing them. Like, NRG is just so strong in that 1v1 department. Yeah. They're able to suffocate the team over and over again. LJ will finally get a full tank, but here comes the shot. Pressure onto the edge, double commit opens the gates, 3-0 NRG.
And even when there is a double commit, it's a comfortable goal for NRG. That was LJ getting the touch out, and somebody had to be following it for Jamal Jabari. You'd expect a better hit, but you know, you can't blame him too much as long as he's in the position. Jamal Jabari can't get the counterattack. NRG, this is more of what we expected, Wavepunk. You know, getting physical, not those free goals that have been given up. I'm still thinking back to that Justin goal, which was very awkward. Almost a good morale boost from Toasty, though, there at the end.
Oh, they're gonna get one. We'll take one for the road. Just remind NRG we could still play. You might have had the better of us throughout the course of this game, but we can find a way to put one on the board. And here's the thing, like, I think this is the scoreline we expected in this series, Turtle, but it's not the way we expected NRG to have to play. They're having to play dirty and in the trenches, fist fighting with Jamal Jabari. This isn't the lofting over them, floating like a butterfly, stinging like a beamer over their head kind of thing. Like, we expected NRG to be outclass Jamal Jabari, and that is not happening at all.
And they're forcing NRG to get into this uncomfortable playstyle. NRG don't really like going for demos all the time. You know, they would prefer to just go for those earlier shots and wait for a mistake. That's what they wanted to do in game 1 and game 2. Game 1, it worked out. Game 2, Jamal actually caught on to the tactic and ended up getting some really solid counterattacks and having some early shots of their own. Meanwhile, come out into this game, we've got much more solo plays. Look at all these highlights so far. It starts with one player kind of taking it slow, all by himself, keeping it close, some demos on the field. Very different strategy than what we saw in the first few games, Wave.
Yeah, and what we see is NRG moving up, forcing the solo games, forcing them to contest, not taking as many brazen shots from midfield. And the thing is them taking those brazen shots was opening up the opportunity for Jamal to also take those shots. Jamal struggled to get ball control by themselves. They had very few moments where they were alone with the ball in the midfield. That meant they couldn't just take those long rangers. So the strat that worked in game 2 is not going to work moving forward. They've got to find a way to win 50-50s.
And one thing I'm a huge fan of with the Jamal playstyle has been the lack of hesitation. These guys don't care who's up for the ball. They are going to go up for the 50, just like that from Toasty. He's going to pre-jump it, get the save. Somehow they stay alive and keep the scoreline even in the first few seconds.
Nice control here in the beginning of game 4. It's Toasty coming off the ceiling. LJ demolished. That'll loosen up that control. And here comes Squishy on the other end. Krasic's on the retreat. Will get the block, but Garrett now passes to Justin, puts it high. Toasty already up for it. Justin gets bumped off it. Toasty to an empty backfield. Can Squishy get there? Oh, he can't. Toasty double taps it, and Jamal Jabari's back on top.
This is a classic example of what happens when the midfield pass doesn't work out. You're basically giving a free interception to whoever can read the play. This time it was Toasty, a massive clear to the other side, off the backboard. This could be a chance. Will we see a Game 5 Wave against Jamal Jabari and NRG? I would love to see that one.
We very well might, but we got 4 more minutes of game 4 to get through first, and NRG has always tied it up as soon as Jamal Jabari's gotten that lead in this series. So we'll see. If they can get up to a 2-goal lead here, I feel like we have a completely different situation on our hands to look at. Garrett G over the top of 1 to Justin, takes it to the upper 90, and it's a bit high. LJ will clear it off to the corner. Squishy puts the pressure on. Toasty counters it. Now Garrett G to Justin. This infield pass much more well placed in front of Justin, but his shot is high. Squishy falling back, plays it off of his corner, lost it straight to midfield, and they're kind of going back to the boomer ball we saw in the first few games. As Garrett G back to midfield, Toasty's gonna try and take control of this one, but all the control cost all his boost. Krazik's in the corner, up against one player, and it gets crowded. Justin slams the door on Toasty. They will not get that second goal just yet. LJ trying to make the bumps, Toasty puts it high, and Garrett G gets another one. Krazik down to the box once more. NRG defending this post with their lives.
But you got to give credit to Jamal's offense and the pressure they're holding on this NRG defense, taking boost, winning 50s, and also we've seen a couple of bumps. I know in particular Krazik, you had talked about it in the first few games, that he has been a monster on offense, and he comes out here still performing, also getting the saves, and I think actually you mentioned it on defense, but he comes out on offense is what I'm trying to say. Now LJ, the 1v1 play, you've got to get it past Squishy. It's going to be a difficult challenge. The 1v1 player shows up, and Toasty, he got the follow-up. Where was the NRG defense?
I can't believe they lose the 1v1 against a backwards Squishy, and they win the 1v2 on the side. They didn't even touch it. Toasty puts it in. 2-0 for Jamal Jabari.
That's such a weird spot for Garrett G and Justin to be in. You notice Justin didn't want to own goal it, so he hits the brakes. But then Garrett G had seen the positioning of Justin and maybe thought he was going to get a touch himself. Oh my goodness, what a redirect. What are we seeing, Wavepunk? Somehow NRG, that one's not going to go in, and more shots on net from Jabari.
Jabari is playing so well right now.
Yeah.
A demolition on Toasty might give NRG their first goal here. Oh, but the touch is too high. The shot accuracy from NRG, they've had excellent passes, excellent transitions. Finally, they put one on target, and it's saved by Krazik's off the post. I think that one might have actually bounced out by itself, too. I don't know. Right now, the defense from Jamal Jabari is keeping them alive, and the offensive plays is giving them the lead.
Well, I expected Jamal with this defense to continue, but I didn't think they'd have enough boost to get some counterattacks, and eventually they would just get suffocated on defense. But with the clears we've seen and how fast they can recover against this NRG roster, which is very difficult to do, they're allowed to go forward, get some opportunities. Now more demos from Krazik's, and force NRG in some panic situation.
Key demolition, and it is enough. The block comes through. 2-goal game. Here comes the counterattack. Squishy and Garrett G into the corner. LJ's trying to defend it all by himself. Gets it past 1. Krazik's back out to LJ, and here comes the counterattack from Jamal. They get it past 1. Pop it over 2. Krazik's looks for the bump, and they don't quite get it. The ball was just a bit high, and Justin dodged the demolition. Counterattack from NRG, blocked by Krazik's in the midfield. 1-50-50 changes it all. Another completely reverses the direction. Jamal Jabari playing so well in the midfield.
Oh yeah, and they're so conscious of the boost. I just watched Krazik's perspective now as he almost himself gets a goal, but I was just going to mention Krazik's. He is consciously taking the midfield boost right away and right in front of Garrett G, starving him out, making sure their defense can't rotate with boost. And it is a flip of the script, to say the least.
They try to put the pressure on, but again, Jamal Jabari in their box, do not flinch. And the clear to the side is good in the counter in the 50-50. Toasty trying to just put this game away. One more goal would do it. Just now to the edge. Jamal Jabari up on offense with a 2-goal lead and 30 seconds left in game 4. Forcing a game 5. LJ to try and put in the nail. And Krazik's happy to burn time in this corner. NRG can't get out of their back third.
Oh no, they can't even outpace anyone on the side of Jamal Jabari. LJ, he got the fake earlier. What else does he have? A double tap off the backboard.
Although he got a reverse goal for it too. LJ, that's the player you highlighted on offense earlier, and he has continued to light it up. 3-0 Jamal Jabari in game 4.
If he's up, if he's up, you expect something crazy to happen from NRG. This is why they're forced back, because maybe they didn't know that Jamal had these mechanics on their side. I certainly didn't.
I mean, my favorite thing about this series right now, Jamal Jabari is not playing. It has no respect, no caution right now against NRG. The amount of goals they're scoring, Turtle, where they're just like, no, we're going to run this down the field. We'll beat you to your own net. Like it's squishy muffins. What are you talking about, right? But then they do. They actually are winning the challenges, and we are going to Game 5. Jamal Jabari trying to upset NRG, a second regional in a row.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned it, I've actually made this argument earlier from when I was playing. I would even get nervous myself. Granted, I wasn't the best by any means, but I would get nervous going against a team that had veterans on that roster. So if I saw a name like, say, Cooks on the field, it would make me nervous and hesitate going in for my challenges, and I would actually prefer to have some kind of thing where I could make the name tags just blank. But Jamal Jabari, they do not care whatsoever, like you said. It could be Justin going for the ball, it could be squishy, and yet we're still going to get LJ throwing himself at the ball, getting some double taps.
Yeah, no, and I mean, and the back line of this team, again, they've had to put up 6+ saves every game, it feels like. This game, they forced NRG to go for 9. So much offense, 15 shots Jamal Jabari put up here in this game, 3-0 as they come shut out NRG in game number 4. Game 5 just around the corner. And this, again, we said it earlier, the more you favor one team, the bigger of an upset it is. And it could happen here in Game 5.
Yeah, and we've just got a slight little delay here as we get into Game 5 to make sure all the players have the perfect connection, or possibly even car swap, if you will. I could definitely see a placebo coming into play for NRG, but I just want to take it back now real quick to the first regional of the winter split. NRG had dropped down into the lower bracket. They went to several Game 5s against teams that we expected them to beat, and I'm talking about E United. That went to a Game 5. NRG still ended up winning. They played against Version 1. That went to a Game 5. NRG still ended up winning. So in these situations, it's going to be the most difficult, obviously, for Jamal Jabari, because NRG, even against a team that may be the underdog, they will still perform throughout the whole series.
Yeah, and it has always been the primary characteristic of the top dogs in North America, and really any team in Rocket League, is how do you play on the days when you're struggling a little bit, right? And I wouldn't even necessarily say there's been notable struggles. The biggest one I would say is maybe just accuracy. We saw so many excellent passes and excellent setups that the final contact off of the bumper, the ball to the goal was just high, was just wide. NRG not forcing as much honesty out of Jamal Jabari in Game 4. So we'll see how things go though in Game 5. We are going to take a quick break to make sure that Game 5 is all set up and competitively integral. So we will be right back on the RLCSX. All right, we are back after a short pause. It's time for Game 5. Small technical issues taken care of, and it's time to decide who is going to be moving forward in our upper bracket. I'm Wavepunk, joined by Turtle. We're watching NRG versus Jamal Jabari. Jamal Jabari trying to create the upset, but this break is going to take away a little bit of their momentum, Turtle. Yeah,
hopefully people, we were able to grab our popcorn, get the snacks to come in for Game 5, and we'll see what Jamal Jabari actually did between that little gap of time. Like you were saying, it's very important that you keep the momentum in this game. So NRG could come out on fire with some momentum. That could have basically been a shot to a lot of the energy. That's a bit of a pun, unintentional, but that's Jamal Jabari are feeling.
This is it can be a bit of a mental reset, which is not what you want from Jamal Jabari. You liked the place that NRG was in mentally, but a demolition opens up the gates. Justin can't tap it in. I don't know that the mental is actually any better. We'll see here. Squishy looking for his opportunity. Up against LJ, gets it away into Game 5. Things exciting already.
Yeah, you can already just disregard the mental barrier that we talked about, because the defense from Jamal Jabari still going strong. If you're new to the series or you just came in after the break, this has been an outstanding series from both teams, but Jamal Jabari in particular, they have gotten the saves when they need to. Incredible challenges, and like we've talked about all series long, they don't fear a single player on NRG.
This offensive double commit could spell disaster for NRG. Here's Toasty onto the corner. Got Justin backwards, sends it high. Garrett's got to get up quickly. A squishy in net that's got to get away. And now Justin back down the field. Onto Garrett's hood. Driving the Fennec. A bump on the Squishy. He's going to try and give it to Garrett. Connects with Justin instead. Now Garrett to the sky, to the goal. LJ will get a block double commit in goal for Jamal Jabari. And this will be, I believe, the latest scored opening goal of the series. Garrett G to the backboard once more, and Krasic's right there. Lofted high. Garrett G, the bail on this one. Squishy to the edge. This one's going to go back to Jamal Jabary. Toasty just sends the shot. Justin gets up in time. Off to the corner. Toasty looking for the demolition on him. Chases him around the goal. Krasic's over the top of one. He's got LJ in the midfield to pass to, but the connection from Justin. He'll play it all the way back to midfield.
Wow.
And oh my goodness, 2 touches. Jamal Jabary puts it right back into the corner. Here comes the shot to the far side. Garrett G's got it away.
Oh, and that sequence of passing from Jamal Jabari was incredible. Something that NRG can't really string together is those little passes out of their defense. The transition has not been the strongest. They want to go for more solo plays, but now keeping it close as Garrett G. The control worked to get them to match point. Will it work again in Game 5? It does for Justin off the backboard to himself. So easy, so clean for the man.
This wide double tap off the backboard. Krasic's and Toasty, I think they both expected Justin to challenge a little bit more closely, and they just go for the blocks instead. Justin waits for them to be out of position, takes the shot. NRG now with a lead in Game 5. Approaching halftime, Jamal Jabari, lots of offensive control in this game, but no goals yet to show for it. Here they come for another attempt. LJ off the backboard, Krasic beats 2. Garrett G into the net, back to midfield, picks up midfield boost. Toasty takes the ball away from him. Now Squishy into the corner. Toasty to LJ. Back to Toasty, but intercepted by Squishy. He plays it onto his own backboard. Toasty to try and follow. This one gets a defender off of it. LJ to trap it on the wall, drop it in the box. Justin's got the clear. Krasik has 2 NRG players on top of him. And Toasty now up against Squishy. Garrett G collapses on him from the edge. 2 minutes left to go. NRG still leading by 1.
There's still really good looks from Jamal, though. That first goal is not getting in their heads. They don't look demoralized whatsoever. Still going with those passes. Now at 50 out to Toasty. Off the backboard. Garrett doesn't read it. And now there's still more space for Krasik. What's he got? Maybe a dunk in store. Not enough. NRG defense has been picked up a bit, but still on the look for their first goal is Jamal.
Krasik has Toasty and LJ both lurking in the midfield. They want to move up, but the touches go into NRG's hands. They win a few 50-50s. Toasty, though, has other ideas. Ball goes high. Justin loses control out of boost. Krasik will have this one for free on the backboard. Clears it to midfield. Squishy with the touch. Back into the corner. And NRG just trying to win 50s. Give themselves the opportunities, but Toasty over the top. The ball is just wide of the net. What would have been the tying goal. Here comes the rest of Jamal Jabari. A win in the sky. Sends it back to midfield. LJ forces him. Keeps him honest on the goal line, and Squishy gets the block. Toasty now putting more pressure on Justin.
Toasty.
He's out of boost. He'll look for the corner.
We've come so close to seeing Jamal outpace in that final moment of 50 in the middle of the pitch is something that could be the difference for Jamal and get them back in this game. They don't want to get set back down to the lowers. Neither do NRG. Already happened in the previous regional. They had to make the entire run from lowers. We'll see if they have to again.
Krasik, no one's challenging him. He doesn't make contact. The fake on to Toasty. And the block on the goal line. How does Squishy read it? Gets it away. 37 seconds left. The accuracy from Jamal Jabari absolutely lights out brilliant. The pass back to Jamal. And it gets countered by Justin. 30 seconds left. What a save indeed. Here's Garrett G. To the goal, it's just wide. Follow-up is not there. Toasty pass 2. Up to Justin. He's backwards in net, getting challenged by Jamal. 18 seconds. As Justin has 2 players right behind him. NRG crowded in this corner, but Justin holds onto the ball. Gives him time to space out. And now 10 seconds left. Krasik in his corner. He's got LJ on the side. We've seen them do the full court carry a few times, but they haven't scored on it. They've got to do it now, and they've got to be clutch.
Oh, no way.
1 second left. Clock dead. LJ keeps it alive, but that won't be enough. Krasik will score on his own net almost. And NRG will take game number 5. Jamal Jabari make them sweat, but NRG finally stave off the upset.
Woo, this is what you wanted to see out of Jamal Jabari. 100%. Hats off to them. That was a stellar series. LJ in particular on offense becoming a beast with those mechanics. And even in Game 5, you could see, I thought maybe there was a chance for a buzzer beater. At that moment, they were relentless. Jamal, even when the first goal went in favor of NRG, they didn't back off. No hesitation, still on the field, barely saw any double commits. It was just that one instance from Justin where the defense had been a little bit tangled up. That was the difference, Wave, in this series between NRG and Jamal Jabari. Who would have thought?
Yeah, it was... man, I'm so impressed. I think that Shogun summed this up well on the desk. He said, full respect to Jamal Jabari. If not slighting them at all, give them the full attention that they've deserved. NRG will still win, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, you do want to kind of go back, though, and think about that pause, though. Would it have been different if Jamal Jabari could just take that momentum straight in?